When I say crick, you say crack. Crick, crack, crick. That's the sound of Johnny breaking wood to make a slingshot. At least it would have been if Johnny was still making slingshots. You see, back in the day, Johnny was the best slingshot maker in the whole village. Crick! He would find the right tree. Crick! The right branch in that tree. Crick! The right crook in that branch. Crick! Attach the leather just right and crick! Let fly a stone that never missed. Johnny never missed a bird. A chichibodo, some of them mahala, some a ball. Chichibodo, some of them mahala, some a ground dove, some of them mahala, some a chickman chick, some of them mahala, some a cling cling. And then one day, when Johnny knelt down to pick up his latest conquest, the cling stuck to his hand. And no matter how much Johnny shook, he couldn't get rid of that cling. And then without so much as a beat left in one feather, the cling began to sing. You better carry me home, you better carry me home. My name is Simon Tutu, better carry me home. Well, Johnny ain't afraid of Duppy, so him just put on him two shoes left and right and walk go home. Oh, what? You better strip me now, you better strip me. My name is Simon Tutu, better strip me. Well, Johnny, no afraid of Duppy, so him just strip him in a pudding pan of hot Kananga water and pick out every feather. You better cook me now, you better cook me. My name is Simon Tutu, better cook me. Well, Johnny, no afraid of Duppy, so him cook him with a left hand full of garlic and a right hand full of clove. You better eat me now, you better eat me. My name is Simon Tutu, better eat me. Well, Johnny not afraid of Duppy. And him go through all this trouble already, so him just eat him and wash him down with a bottle of cream soda and 3 green lime. And then Johnny belly starts swell. And Johnny belly swell. And Johnny belly swell till him had to lie down on the ground, and he's down there on the ground in Johnny belly. Simon Tutu told a story about the most beautiful bird you ever did see. You see, back in the day, before your day or my day, before Johnny day, long, long before yesterday, when people had better plans for themselves than being held in chains, a band of brave warriors escaped to the hills. For a while, they were marooned there, taking care of one another, especially the children. Don't me baby, don't cry, your mama gonna fountain. That was the nanny. Don't me baby, don't cry, your mama gonna fountain. People say she was tall and beautiful, with eyes that held magic. They said nobody could look into those eyes and live, because Nanny could change things, change into things. They say at a place where 2 rivers meet, Nanny kept a pot a boiling. She put in some of this, some of that, some for you, some for me, some for anybody who tried thief this pretty little pot. Them say one day, some red coat man come to see what the pot can do, what the pretty little pot can do. And when Nanny wasn't looking, they lifted the lid and smelled, and instantly into the pot they fell, because the pot wasn't a pot at all. But nobody can say what it was and live, and it gone with red coat. is Mr. Brooks did send them. Him was the chief redcoat. And so the next day, him send another set of redcoat to see what the pot can do, what the pretty little pot can do. And they screech you up the hill. And they're hiding in between the bushes. When all of a sudden the bush reach out and grab them. Because the bush wasn't a bush at all. It was an ambush. And it gone with redcoat. You can imagine now how Mr. Brooks vex. And him say him going up the hill himself to bring back the pot, the brew, nanny, the picnic, and the redcoat. And him gone like the grand old Duke of York. He had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and marched them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were only halfway up, Auntie Mama, oh, we hear a blowing. Auntie Mama, oh, we hear a blowing. And then Nanny know that every time she hear the bang, it's time for her to take some more children and carry them go hide. Till when Mr. Brooks reach on top the hill, it's just him alone and Nanny. And him put him hand pan him Kimbo, where him keep him gun. And she put her hand pan her Kimbo, where she keep her gun repellent. And him look pan her. And she look pan him. And him look pan her. And she look pan him. And him go so. And fire shot in a Nanny chest. Fire shot in a Nanny chest. But she look on him with more fire because of she a Capleton mama. And him knees them knock. And him foot start to wobble. And him drop a ground. Way. Got dead a bush. And then she too started to fall over the cliffs. And all the children ran out screaming, Nai, Nana, Nanny. And right there saw Johnny belly pop. And out came Simon Tutu. You better carry me back, you better carry me back. My name is Simon Tutu, better carry me back. And him grab on to Johnny leg. And he never stop push and pull, and push and pull, until they reach the place where two rivers meet. And Simon Tutu rose up. And in the sunlight, Johnny couldn't tell what colors the feathers were. Were they black, or green, or gold, or green, or black, or gold, or green and black and gold? And Simon Tutu circled the place where two rivers meet, marked it as sacred. And from that day, Johnny never shoot another bird. And one day, him going to find better use for him slingshot. You better carry me back, you better carry me back. My name is Simon Tutu, better carry me back, you better carry me, you better carry me. My name is Simon Tutu, better carry me back. My name is Amina Blackwood-Meeks, and the story I just told you is one of my own creations from a project I'm doing called History as Legends. And I want to use that story to demonstrate what it is we know about storytelling within the context of the stories that we tell. Our stories follow the shape of Anansi stories, at least the stories I write. I'm informed by the structure of the Anansi stories, which we got from West Africa. And within that context, our stories don't begin once upon a time. The stories could begin anywhere. They don't have to be linear. They can be circular. They cross time and space. They cross elements. Our stories represent a reservoir of our riddles and proverbs, everyday sayings, because the Anansi stories, you must be able to dance. You must be able to sing. As a matter of fact, when we search the African continent, and we can't talk about all the countries, but insofar as we could have searched, it is very difficult to find one single word that means storytelling, because there is very seldom an engagement of just talk once upon a time. And the word that I love is the word pataki, which is the word that means a story that is designed for your spiritual upbringing. And that's the context within which I tell stories, which are sometimes called parables for the theater. This story takes place in the Blue and John Crow Mountains, where Nanny of the Maroons and her band of warriors were located. Why did I choose the Blue and John Crow Mountains? I chose the Blue and John Crow Mountains to set that story within because of the importance of the environment. The Blue and John Crow Mountains are in fact a World Heritage Site. And there are, I believe, 1,700 World Heritage Sites. 35 of them are important because they combine environmental heritage with cultural heritage. And so you would have noticed that the story hints at that, the use of the river and the use of the plants for medicines and magic and so on as important aspects of the culture. You would also notice that within that story, there are Jamaican folk songs. Don't me baby, don't cry, your mama gone a fountain. Or the song about Simon Tutu, you better carry me back, you better carry me back. My name is Simon Tutu, better carry me back. Stories are a place of magic and the belief in another world, another existence, that there is no space between you and I and this television screen or whatever device you're watching on. In the cosmology from which our stories come, there is no separation. So all the worlds exist at one and the same time. Magic. So Nanny utilized magic. And the magic of Nanny is no different from the magic of the bullets of Colonel Brooks and his people. And then our stories do not have a once upon a time beginning and a middle and an end, because the stories represent the continuity of life. They can begin anywhere and they don't have an ending, because it is the responsibility of the listener to carry the story on to the next generation, the next generation. You will often hear this in the way we begin stories and the way we end stories. Our beginning is a call and response wherever we in the diaspora tell stories. So if you were to go to Haiti and you hear someone say, Tim Tim, it's storytelling time, and the response would be boishes, and so on. Different form of words in different locations, but the ritual is essentially the same. Now, when the story comes to what we believe is an end, in Jamaica, the storyteller says, Jack Mandora, and those who are listening say, may not choose none, because Jack Mandora is the keeper to the gates of heaven. He allows you to tell any story you want to tell, but at some point in time, you have to let Jack Mandora know that you are aware that elements of the story, people in the story, the characters in the story are not necessarily uplifting, and you don't choose to behave like them. So it seems as if the story has come to an end until we go to Barbados, where they say, "Why a bend? Story end." And where that is even more protracted in a place like Grenada, where they say, "Why a bend? Story end. Me need a pen to write me an end." And the stories really cannot end because they have to live to fulfill their purpose, to connect us from that time to this time, and very importantly, to promote imaginative and critical thinking for the times in which we live. And so now I want to close with a story which demonstrates storytelling as parables for the theater. So you know when I say creek, you're going to say crack. Creek, crack. A long time ago, these islands had different names. There was no Jamaica, no Barbados, no Cayman. They were known by the very special names given to them by the people who first lived here. So there was Wadadli, Uanora, Haiti, Zamaka. And then 3 ships went sailing in. And because they couldn't say those names, they simply called the islands by numbers. So there was island number 1, island number 2, island number 3, island number 4, island number 5. You can imagine how distressing it was to these people. They had to learn to say other things which they didn't recognize. And on the island of 5, there lived a king. And that king had a servant to do anything, to comb his hair, to brush his teeth, to dress him, and to fetch his food. And then one morning, the servant who had to fetch food came back very distraught. He said, "O king, there is no food. There has been a drought on the land. I don't know whether you have ever been hungry, but for many people, whenever they get hungry, the head don't function so good." And so it was with the king. He lost his head. He said, "No food? There's no food on the land? If I can't get food to eat, nobody on this island can say the number 5. You can imagine already you've had to learn a new name, and now you're not allowed to say it because the king said anybody who said the number will fall down and die. But Anansi was listening, and Anansi never falls down and dies. So whenever Anansi has a problem, he would go by a special river, and at that river he would think. And while he was thinking, he had his favorite river song. I was rafting on the Rio Grande, oh, 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 oh. Me and me Uncle Benji, oh. We buck up on one big rock stone and the raft on over. And just when Nancy reached the part about the big rock stone, and Nancy saw a pile of stones, and he picked up this many and put them on the riverbank and sat there thinking, and pretty soon he heard a sound. Moo! And Nancy looked up, and there was the cow coming. Sister Betty, said Nancy, "You're looking kind of thin." And Sister Betty said, "Yes, Aunt Nancy, I can't even find a blade of grass to eat because of the drought." And Aunt Nancy said, "How strange, because I could tell you where you could find nice, fresh grass to eat." And Sister Betty said, "Please, Aunt Nancy." And Nancy said, "Not so fast. Nothing for nothing and very little for your money. First, you have to tell me how many stones I have put on the riverbank." Sister Betty belly empty, her head not working. She call out the number. She roll over and die. And Nancy have oxtail, and Nancy have cow tongue sandwich, and Nancy have hamburger, and Nancy have T-bone steak, And so the next time Nancy was hungry, he gone back to the river bank to raft on the Rio Grande. Except this time, he heard, meh, Brother Billy, meh. And Nancy said, Brother Billy, what's the matter with you? Brother Billy said, and Nancy, I'm trying to find some food to eat, but I can't find anything. Fret not thyself, said Nancy. I know where you can find brown paper that goat love to eat when them can't find anything. Really? Said Brother Billy, then can you please tell me where? Not so far, said Nancy. Nothing for nothing and very little for your money. First you have to tell me how many stones, and before Nancy could finish this sentence, Brother Billy ball out the number, and that is where Nancy find out say ram goat liver good for make manish water. And him take out Billy goat teeth, and him make necklace, and him take Billy goat skin, and him make a mat, and him put it by bedside, except this time. Chatty Mouth Parrot saw what Nancy was doing, and Chatty Mouth Parrot fly all over the village, telling the animals, remember that? Don't say, you remember this? Don't say it. And the next time Nancy was hungry, rafting on the Rio Grande, and Nancy getting ready to have another easy meal, and this time he heard, "Buck, buck, 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 mark, buck, buck, mark, Sister Chicken," said Nancy. What's matter? Once upon a time you were a very sexy chicken, but now you lose all your feathers, you're looking like a sensy fowl. Sister Chicken said, Nancy, don't make fun of me. I can't even find a grain of corn. How strange, said Nancy. I just passed a nice big field of fresh, juicy young corn. Oh, tell me where to find it, please, Brother Nancy. No, said Nancy, not so fast. Nothing for nothing and very little for your money. You have to tell me how many stones there are on the riverbank. All right, Nancy. I'm going to stand up on this one here, so. If I'm standing up on this furthest one, over that side, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. And Nancy said, I did not ask you that. I want to know how many stones there are on the river bank. Chicken stand up on the second one and say, well, I'm standing on the second one now, Nancy. To my left, I have +1. And to my right, I have +1, 2. I did not ask you that, said Nancy. Oh, please take some time with me. I didn't always get a chance to go to school, you know. Some of us, you know, how the COVID thing take over and we had to stay home and couldn't get online. But I'm going to stand up on the second, the one in the middle. And so to my right will be +2, and to my left will be +2 more. And Nancy get vexed. And Nancy said, I did not ask you that. You are supposed to tell me how many stones are in this river. I don't care whether you miss half your life in school or not. You are supposed to know that the number of stones on the riverbank are 1, 2, 3, 4. And Nancy bawl out the number. And Sister Chicken had a lovely supper, at the end of which she went, "Pok, pok, 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 pok." Jack Mandora, me no choose, no.